All right, Class 6A here on the ASN Rankings show. This one's going to be a quick one, to be honest with everybody, because there were no changes in the rankings from last week to this week, so I'm just going to run through them real quick and give a short explanation. The games, though, should be interesting, so stick around for that. The game picks and the in-depth analysis on those games should be interesting. Down the stretch here, 6A, there will be some shakeups in the rankings. It's just last week it didn't really shake out that way. Um, Greenwood versus Lake Hamilton was a top 10 matchup, but as talented and as good as Greenwood's been, it's hard to bump down Lake Hamilton for a loss like that. So we'll just go ahead and get into it here. Before we do, if you haven't subscribed to us here on YouTube yet, go ahead and do that. We are very close to hitting 100,000 followers on all platforms, so go ahead and subscribe on YouTube right here, and then follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram. We are all over the place on social media, so go ahead and check us out. Don't forget to like this video if you're enjoying this content, if you're enjoying the show. Without further ado, we'll just go ahead and get into it real quick. Starting off with number one, Greenwood. No surprise here. Number one, Greenwood has been dominant all season. Archer Brothers doing their thing as usual, and Greenwood stays at number one. Number two, Benton. No surprise here either. Their only loss on the season has been in the Salt Bowl to Bryant. They remain at number two. Number three, Shiloh Christian. The Saints remain number three. Lost to Greenwood earlier in this season, but other than that, hasn't been too shaky of a start for the Saints, who are new to the class. Number four, Marion, a little bit of a wild card team here in the class. Should be really interesting to see what Marion can do down the road. I think they've got a lot of really talented athletes and especially a really good run game. So it should be interesting to see what Marion can do down the stretch as well. Number five, Mountain Home. Not so much of a wild card as Marion is. Marion lost to Conway earlier in the season. Mountain Home has some 6A losses. But I do think Mountain Home has a chance to potentially be an upset pick for many people when it comes to playoff time. Number six, Catholic. They're a team that might run into a roadblock this week. We'll get to that in just a moment. But they should be in a really good playoff position at this point. Number seven, Lake Hamilton. Lake Hamilton, a team that lost last week to Greenwood, but they're still really talented team. Coach Gilliran's crew sits at 5-2 right now. And finally, number eight, El Dorado. They remain at the number 8 spot this week after moving in last week. All right, we'll get into some game picks here, starting with West Memphis versus El Dorado. Game is at El Dorado, so that should help the Wildcats. They will get the win this week over West Memphis. Benton versus Little Rock Catholic. I think Little Rock Catholic's win streak ends here. Almost lost to Sheridan a couple weeks ago, but they will lose to Benton this week at home. Sheridan versus Marion. I think this, anytime Kevin Kelly is involved in a football game, he's always got a chance, in my opinion. I think that, they might be a smart upset pick here, the Yellow Jackets of Sheridan. But I'm going to pick Marion to get the victory this week. But I do think that Coach Kelly's team will be prepared heading into the rest of the season, and they're going to try to make a playoff push late. Jonesboro versus Sylvan Hills. I'm going to pick Jonesboro to get the victory in this game over Sylvan Hills. Sylvan Hills might be a couple of years away from where they really want to be, but I think that they will be a solid program down the road for sure. Mountain Home versus Lake Hamilton. I'm going to pick Lake Hamilton to win. I know that Mountain Home is ranked higher in our rankings this week, but Lake Hamilton under Coach Gilliran is so fundamentally sound every year. Now, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if Mountain Home won this game, but it's at Lake Hamilton. That's definitely going to help them. It's it's Mountain Home likes to air it out a little bit. Lake Hamilton likes to run the ball. Um, I am going to pick Lake Hamilton to get the victory this week, though. Um, ever since these two teams started playing, Lake Hamilton's won every year, um, and that started in 2020. So, gonna pick Lake Hamilton to win this week and make it 5 straight. Fort Smith Southside versus Russellville. Neither of these teams ranked in our top 10. Excuse me, our top 8. I keep saying top 10. It's top 8 for Class 6A and 7A. So just want to clarify that real quick. But with that being said, I am going to pick Fort Smith Southside to win this week. Fort Smith Southside, um, I think they competed really well with Shiloh Christian a couple weeks ago before ultimately losing that game. But I do think they're gonna have a nice win over a really solid Russellville team, I think, this week. Shiloh Christian versus Siloam Springs. Saints will roll big time in this one. Should have a lot of success running the ball. The Saints continue their winning ways this week with a victory over Siloam Springs. Greenwood versus Van Buren. Greenwood will win this game handedly. Van Buren's a team I think that is better than people thought they were going to be in the offseason, but Greenwood is just so talented all across the board, offensively, defensively, special teams. They've just got it all figured out this season. They are probably the best team in the state of Arkansas right now. So I'm going to go with Greenwood to easily win this game and move one step closer to an undefeated regular season. That's going to do it for Class 6A, a short class similar to Class 7A once we get to it here. Go ahead and go back and watch. If you go back and watch you can go back and watch 2A through 5A. I should be uploaded at this point to YouTube. Again, like the video if you're enjoying the show or if you're enjoying what we're putting out here at ASN. Subscribe to us if you haven't already. We're very close to reaching our 100,000 subscriber milestone or follower milestone, however you want to call it. And we are really excited about the future here at the Arkansas Sports Network. We've got teams from all across the state that we're covering, so you won't want to miss out on whatever coverage we might have for your team this week or in the future. Also, if you're a fan of 4A volleyball, we will be covering that event next week. Should be a very, very fun week for all of us at ASN covering that and then getting into our football stuff, our game of the week later. Really excited to see what happens with that. And again, we are very close to reaching 100,000 followers. If you want to be a part of that, go ahead and subscribe, follow, do all that good stuff. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment if you want us to know something about your team, if you're a Class 6A football fan. But with all that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here for the ASN Ranking Show. And for now, until Class 7A, I'm Carson Ward, signing off.